Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the news. I believe that Democrats want Vice President Kamala Harris to replace Joe Biden eventually because of not only the special counsel in the classified data nightmare, and it is a nightmare. Okay, for a number of reasons, the vice president does not have the same authority as a president. He faces much greater legal jeopardy than Trump ever did. But also because of the Hunter laptop from you-know-where and the possible graft and likely criminal charges just from that laptop, that they're not even really investigating the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Impeachment. We already have Chuck Grassley in the Senate, but impeachment with Jim Jordan, James Kamara, the House Judiciary and House Oversight Committees. That alone will reveal endless corruption. We already know also, the Twitter files, government agencies and Democratic Congresspeople influenced and broke First Amendment laws categorical as no debate at all. The only debate is from people who the cognitive dissonance. The only debate would be from people who possess impenetrable cognitive dissonance. And so that when the first Twitter files came out that the government wasn't involved, then Twitter files, 1 through 14 showed massive government involvement. Now they're like, oh, it's just protocol. It's like, no, it's not guidelines. It's government involvement. Why? To silence the actual legitimate and true reporting of the New York Post on Hunter's laptop, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, government agencies had been working overtime to cover up the truth. That was silenced and suppressed 2 years ago. We weren't given an informed decision. But anyway, well, we knew that the laptop was from, wherever. But anyway. I don't think that in a couple of my viewers, amazing, awesome, intelligent viewers have said the same thing. I don't think Democrats want to go through impeachment with this man. I don't think that they want to go through impeachment with Hunter and Joe and classified data and a special counsel and criminal charges, because the thing is Hunter will get a plea deal or indicted and charged for tax crimes. Okay. But the issue is not about, it's about how he made the money. There's nothing wrong with using your family name or nepotism to make money. It's nothing wrong with that if it's legal, promising access to the US government and telling people, yeah, you have the ear of the vice president and emails asking Hunter, how can you use your influence on the company's behalf? That's a big problem. And then 150 financial transactions that have been investigated by the financial institutions. Deutsche Bank never investigated even one transaction from Trump. Otherwise it would have been Democrats would have focused on that endlessly. But I think that Kamala Harris, again, it's not like this prediction. It's not like Michigan State -5, it's lead pipe lockpick. From Ha Goodman. No, I did tell everybody that Clinton would lose to Trump in 2016. I told everybody crypto would tank in 2021. I said the market would tank, it did. And the economy would go into a recession, it did. I said the whole Mueller probe would lead to absolutely nothing, that Trump would never get indicted on any of those absurd allegations. And so my track record compared to most people, especially CNN, MSNBC, have a $20 million venture capital funded people on, the pundits, that anyway, my track record is pretty good. But again, I'm not perfect. So this is not like, I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but I don't see. I think that by 2024 Biden will resign. And Kamala Harris, the vice president, will be the president of United States of America, and they'll see whose could be Hakeem Jeffries. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, as vice president, but see, here's the thing, I guess you could say it's a prediction. Okay, so I'm predicting this. So, I'll just go all in. I think that's what's going to happen. But they don't want endless investigations into Biden because a Biden did commit felonies almost certainly with Hunter. B. They don't have control of Twitter anymore. Okay. C. People are tired of yet another recession. We're going into a recession, and 23D we can have unforeseen, God forbid, geopolitical nightmares. Taiwan is one example. God forbid, if there's an invasion there, heaven forbid. And then the other issues, the Democrats have said, okay, well, you know what? The usefulness of mashed potato brains is up, so, with the Fetterman victory in Pennsylvania, anything is possible. Anything is possible. You can communicate with charades or You could say, hey, here's this house, cat or plant, like fern, and vote for Democrats. This is a Democratic candidate going up. This fern, this cactus, this house cat. This microphone is going up against the Republican. This is the Democratic nominee, and Democrats will vote to vote blue no matter who, and all the far left. The people with different color hair, whatever, and God bless them. God bless everybody. They'll still vote Democrat. Bernie Sanders and AOC exists to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you, left, right, center. If you're communist, socialist, it doesn't matter. I don't really care. If you're watching, if you're a libertarian, Trump voter, Trump supporter, God bless you. The White House and Secret Service claim that no visitor logs exist from Biden's Delaware home. The White House and Secret Service on Monday claimed that no visitor logs exist from Joe Biden's Delaware residence, where multiple classified documents were found by Biden's personal attorneys. These statements were in response to the House Oversight Committee Chair Representative James Comer's request for disclosure of the logs on Sunday. Quote, given the serious national security implications, the White House must provide the Wilmington residence's visitor log. Comer wrote to the White House. He continues, quote, it is troubling that classified documents have been improperly stored at the home of Biden for at least 6 years, raising questions about who may have reviewed or had access to classified information. Republicans are concerned Biden's mishandling of classified documents presents the likelihood that classified materials could have landed in the hands of America's adversaries. Between the classified documents retrieved from the Biden Penn Center and the documents retrieved from Biden's residence in Delaware, the total number of classified documents Biden stashed is now around 25, some of which are in fact top secret. While Biden's Secret Service protects the Biden's Delaware home, agency spokesman Anthony Guglielmi said on Sunday that it does not maintain visitor logs of the residence, though it does screen visitors. Quote, we don't independently maintain our own visitor logs because it is a private residence. The White House confirmed that Biden has failed to keep records of who visited his home. Quote, like every president and decades of modern history, his personal residence is personal. White House spokesman in Sam stated. Comer, who is spearheading one of the two House probes into the matter, has also raised a second question of why Biden's personal attorneys were looking for documents at the residence after a special counsel was appointed. The White House has remained silent on this point. The White House's refusal to explain why Biden's personal attorneys were at the residence comes as the White House's press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has provided a false timeline of events. She falsely claimed Thursday that the search for Biden's classified documents was completed on Wednesday night. The timeline was contradicted on Saturday when the White House admitted 5 more documents had been found on Thursday. Children under 14 years old dying from fentanyl poisoning faster than any other age group, report warns. Children under age 14 are dying from fentanyl poisoning at a faster rate than any other age group in the United States, according to new analysis from Families Against Fentanyl. Fentanyl-related deaths among infants, children who are under age 1, quadrupled from 2019 to 2021. More than tripled among children between the ages of 1 and 4, and nearly quadrupled among children between the ages of 5 and 14 years old since 2015. Fentanyl-related deaths among infants have increased nearly tenfold among children ages 1 to 14. That's increased 15-fold, an increase of over 14,100%. FHF said nationally fentanyl deaths have also doubled over the same time period. The majority of deaths were poisonings, meaning they resulted from fentanyl being ingested without the person's knowledge. Quote, these disturbing new findings should serve as a wake-up call to our nation's leaders. Jim Rao, founder of Families Against Fentanyl, said he again called on Joe Biden to classify fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction and, quote, immediately established a White House task force dedicated to the crisis. He announced the findings after the DEA announced several public safety alerts last year about fentanyl, and Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody warned of Mexican cartels targeting young Americans with Rambo fentanyl pills, big prescription pills that look exactly like candy but are laced with the drug. In early January, AG Moody called on Biden to demand that Mexico take action to prevent fentanyl from pouring across the border. She said that she was deeply concerned because in his meetings with the Mexican president, They did not appear to, quote, discuss the use of illicit fentanyl flooding across our border from Mexico or the record number of Americans dying because of your failure to take action to stop the unmitigated flow of this deadly poison. Nation's food security is in jeopardy after crops are contaminated by migrants. Quote, this is the largest humanitarian disaster. Farmers at the southern border are warning that the country's food security is in jeopardy after the gaps in the U.S.-Mexico border wall have allowed migrants to trespass on farmland and contaminate crops to farmers in Yuma, Arizona, said the open border has led to a food safety concern. From November through March, Yuma supplies 90% of the nation's supply of leafy vegetables. According to the Department of Agriculture, the city generates around 9 billion servings of leafy vegetables per year. However, area farmers say the large gaps in the border wall threatened food production. According to Customs and Border Protection data, migrant crossings in Yuma increased by 171% between 2021 and 2022. Hank Alza, a fifth-generation farmer with land in Yuma, said, quote, where the gaps are opens up to more farm ground for them to walk across. This is the largest humanitarian disaster we've had in this country. And part of the country is happy about that happening. And I don't get why, when an unauthorized person trespasses on farmland, farmers are forced to destroy the crops in that area in case they are contaminated with pathogens that could lead to illness. I was explained that a neighboring farmer had to destroy 10 acres of celery after a group of 30 migrants lived on his field for a week. As I said that as a result, the farmer lost approximately $100,000. Quote, now you start filling food safety audits and there is no insurance in the produce business, so you eat that. Also said Pasquinelli Produce Company President Alex Muller stated that the open gaps in the border wall have caused more migrants to trespass on farmland, which, quote, hits the bottom line and is, quote, not good for the country. He stated, quote, there's obviously a food safety concern because our fields are monitored and audited and tested for different pathogens. If there's somebody that walks into our field and we don't know why, we put up red flags and kind of mark it out and we don't harvest that. Family of American held in Dubai prison feels us abandoned him for Brittany Griner. The family of an American who has been rotting away in prison in Dubai says the U.S. has abandoned him, with the final insult being Joe Biden's efforts to free WNBA player Brittany Griner from a Russian jail while ignoring his status. Zach Shaheen and his family maintained that his arrest in 2015 on financial fraud charges and his 49-year prison sentence was politically motivated because his UAE-sponsored real estate company was targeted strictly for internal UAE political reasons. The financial fraud that Shaheen was convicted of cannot be substantiated by auditors. Reports state that the four big global accountancy firms audited Doctor for the year Zach was CEO and found, quote, no financial losses or evidence of the financial crimes he is accused of. Quote, my dad's just an ordinary American guy who started working hard to make a name for himself. Zach's son Rami stated. He continues, quote, he took this little real estate company and made it what it became and built so much of what Dubai is known for. And then they just took him down. The stricken family felt especially abandoned as Joe Biden worked to free Brittany Griner. At the same time, Biden was so publicly worried over Griner, the Shaheen family was trying to get Zach released over humanitarian concerns due to his rapidly failing health. But while Griner's case was elevated to a national issue, the State Department did nothing to help the Shaheen-ins. Quote, they completely abandoned us. They completely pushed us to the side, Rami stated. He continues, quote, maybe we're not newsworthy enough for them. We're not famous or just an ordinary family and they just left us. Zach's time may be running short. He is suffering from a host of medical issues that developed while in custody. He has been to a UAE hospital for multiple operations and amputations, as doctors have tried and failed to get ahead of his recurring infections. The family fears that there are even worse issues but have not been permitted to see their loved ones' medical records. Thanks for being here, folks. Big hug. Ciao. Goodbye. God bless. We'll see you in the next one.